Hi friends, welcome back to Arc Tutorials. This is Node.js full tutorial series for absolute beginners. I am covering everything that you need to become a solid Node.js developer. We are continuing to learn about the built-in modules that are available as part of Node.js. This is part 7.5, which means we have already covered 4 built-in modules as part of the episode number 7, but I'm breaking it down further for you. This will be the most complete comprehensive tutorial that I'm building with over 50-60 tutorials, so make sure that you give me enough love. Please do like this. I hope you learn from it and you benefit from it. We already covered what are built-in modules. We already covered HTTP module, file system, path module, URL module. Today I'm going to cover events module. Again, remember, if you don't follow certain things in this, that's all right, because as we start writing our actual application real-time project work, you will use all of these modules again, and hence a revision, but it's always good that you follow along. All right, so what is events module? Events module allows us to create and handle custom events. If you know, Node.js is completely event driven. We can also implement different observer pattern. We can utilize event emitter and much more. All right, so I'm going to give you few use cases to show you how you can use them. Let's get started. I will probably throw in few use cases to give you enough confidence. All right, so I'm going to create a new file and call it built-in module. This is events.js. Okay, so that's the name of the file I've given, and that's what we'll write the code for. So for the first and the foremost thing we will do is learn how to use a simple event emitter. Okay, at any point of time, if you're writing any serious application, you will know that you need to trigger an event, and that event can be anything, right? Click, can be hover, when SMS comes in, when SMS goes out, when email triggers, anything, right? Event can be anything. So that's what I'm going to show you, the first use case, which is events.event emitter. So first let's quickly bring in our event emitter equal to require events. Okay, so we are bringing in event emitter from require events. Now you can always create an instance of it. Let's say event em equal to let's say new event emitter. Okay, now you can listen, right? This is first step, which is creating a new event emitter. Okay, that's the first step. But what do you do with it, right? So you basically listen for events, right? Once you create an event emitter, you need to listen to it. So what you can do is event em dot. You can see there are a lot of options that comes up. Now you can add anything that you want. You can say on, say now the event is, if this event happens, I'm going to call a function, right? And you can either mention that or use a shorthand annotation. Anything is fine. Now this is nothing but, think of it like adding a event listener, right? You're basically doing a event listener, that on event listen to this, and let's do a console log and say listening for events. All right, that's step number 2. Now usually what happens, you can emit it, right? So you can do something like emit, and you can emit some value. Okay, so you are emitting event. So now when you are emitting this, this will get triggered because on event, and it will do the console log. Let me show you that. Node built-in module events.js. Now you see it says listening for events. Okay, so 3 steps. First, you create a event emitter, you listen to events, and you trigger them. Okay, now let's keep expanding this into multiple use cases. Okay, so now this is very helpful, very useful utility, trust me. Especially like I said, you let's say you want to change some value of something because user updated the payments, user updated the roles, or anything, right? So you can event em dot, let's say, on. Again, I'm writing, let's say, um, payment. Okay, so once user does a payment, what should happen? He should become a gold member, right? So you can add all of those things, and you can check for those values. You can accept parameters that you want to pass, right? Let me do a payment and say, let's take it here and say plan. Okay, I'm saying that whenever there is an event that will be triggered called payment, we should check the user's plan. Now you can do here and say triggering the payment, and you can write plan, and you can emit the event and say on payment. You'll now pass the actual value. So here we will say the plan is gold. Okay, so now we are saying the user did some payment, and we are triggering an event which is payment. You can see here. Now if I run, I should see that handling, but instead we are getting an error. So let's check what. Alright, so we are passing 2. Okay, so we did mistake here because it's not on, it's on emit. So now let's run. So now you can see triggering payment gold, right? So this is how you can trigger any event basically. And remember, Node.js applications are event driven. Certain thing will happen, and then you need to capture that. So this is the way that you will go after capturing the things. Alright, now let's say you want to listen to only once, right? You don't want you don't want the payment things to happen every time. Yes, so you can modify this and trigger only once. And how can you do that? Instead of dot on, you can say dot once. So this will now trigger only once, okay, even if you call it multiple times. Now see here, it triggered only once, whereas if you emit the event 2 times, it will show you 2 things here: listening for events, listening for events. So the difference is when you do on, it will listen every time. If you want the event to happen only once, right, you will do, let's say, payment, right, or say deletion of a profile or a message or something like that, encryption, you will do only once. So those places you can use dot once. That's another use case that I'm showing you. There are a lot of useful use cases of each of this module that you work with. Okay, I also showed you how to pass parameters, and let me show you one last thing, which is removing of event listener. Right now, certain times you want to disable the event emitter, right, on, let's say, um, you just want to remove it. Okay, so there is a method which is called dot remove listener. Okay, now what this will do is it will just remove it based on, again, certain level of details. Okay, let's say if some function is called, right, now let's say if you send an if you trigger the event, right, let's say I'm going to do, let's create an event, and let's just remove it basically. Okay, so you will write event cm dot on, and I'll say remove listener. These are all must know kind of things that all of you should know when you're working with Node.js. Now removing event listeners. Okay, listener. Alright, so I have one remove. Now let's do a emit. Okay, and we are saying this will be removed. Right now, what I'm doing, I'm just triggering that particular event, which is remove listener. It will go here and it will be calling that particular thing. Okay, now what you can do, once you have emitted it, okay, then you can easily remove it also. Okay, so you have done that, and you can say event fm em dot remove listener. Okay, now what is the is listener event that you want to remove? You can just call it again, and you can call any method or anything that you want to, something like a callback method that you want to have it. Or you can just do a console log and say removed. Okay, now let me run it again and show you. So you can see here removing event listener, which is this. So once you emit, it's here. Now instead of dot on, you can just also say remove listener, and let's see why this not trigger. Remove listener, did we create it? Remove listener, we created a method. Oh, we didn't create a method, right? So that's the thing. So you can create a quick method and say const say my listener, and it will just be a regular function, and say listening to remove. Okay, so we have the my listener, and now what we are doing, we are just triggering that, and say my emitter dot on event fem dot on, and here let's pass my listener. Okay, so what we are doing, we are just triggering an event, and we are emitting that, and once you have emitted, you can remove the listener by just passing it and again calling my listener. That should be fine, I believe. I hope this works. Let's see. All right, so listening for events. Okay, or you can say removing listening for events. So you can see here it says removing listening for events. Okay, and emitter dot emit, let's emit the removal. I think we should give a separate name. It's a little getting confusing to me itself. So but now let's trigger this, removing listener. Okay, remove the listener. Yeah, we removed it. No output, it should. Okay, basically there won't be any output because we removed it. Okay, so the use case here is simple. We have to use dot remove listener to remove the event listener. Okay, and to emit, to trigger, you will use dot emit. Okay, trigger the event using emit. Perfect. Alright, so those are all the use cases from events module for you. You can create an event listener, right? First you create an event emitter, then you listen using the methods, that is dot on, and then you trigger the events using dot emit. If you want to trigger something only once, you would use dot once method. If you want to pass parameters, you can do that also. If you want to remove, you can use the dot remove listener method. Okay, these are all the things that you will need today to learn about the built-in module. Like I said, we will use them very frequent as we move forward and build a real-time project. Do let me know if you have any doubts and questions. I'll be more than happy to help you. In the next episode, we will learn about the built-in modules util. Thank you so much for joining. See you in the next episode.